Hey YouTube, Incendar here. Obviously in the past I've done a lot of videos like power leveling cooking, power leveling alchemy, and how to use that to get the byproducts to get your contribution points really high so you can work on your passive worker network or farming to make tons of passive silver, not playing the game and just AFKing. And it's always been an issue finding the items. People say, oh, I can't get any of this on the marketplace. And then, so I did a couple other videos of where you could buy fruit and herbs, for example, from NPCs, so you can actually spam that out, and that's helped. Now we have another situation where the captcha was removed from the marketplace, so now people can buy, unlimited items quickly. And if you don't have your network set up, or if you're really pumping out a lot of cooking and alchemy, now you're going to have a problem with a lot of the items. Cooking honey is a really good example of what happened there. Kiss that goodbye. And I think that's going to continue because of the fixed prices, so for the foreseeable future. So I was doing a live stream, I guess, about a week ago, and somebody was making fun of, well, I've heard that quite a lot of times, ha ha ha, why do you have 100,000 chicken meat or whatever? And I said, well, I'm not going to sell this stuff to a vendor, I'll just hold on to it because I figured eventually it would be worth something. And somebody that was in the stream was like, well, why don't you use it? And I said, well, not profitable, I can't do it in Imperial, it's not really anything good to me. And they responded, yeah, but you can get the milk and contribution points for it and vendor it. And I'm like, well, I didn't really think of that. That might be a pretty good idea. So I looked up chicken meat. I kind of did this before, so I knew all the different things that went into it, and I didn't really see anything that I could mass produce that would be profitable. And that was my problem because, obviously milk and contribution points can be profitable, and you need to make stuff to get the byproducts to turn in to get that stuff. So when I looked at these, I saw a steamed bird, I had tons of all this stuff. And I looked at the recipe and I said, well, yeah, I could make that. It takes vegetables too, which is another thing that you can get tons of. There's nodes for pumpkins, olives. Obviously, you're going to have so much bird meat going for eggs, and you're going to have tons of vegetables if you just pick up a few of these nodes. So I said, why not? Maybe I could finally get rid of all this stupid chicken meat I have accumulated. Notice the other thing nice about chicken meat, and this is a couple days after the patch. One thing that I don't know, I don't want to say it'll never run out, but I mean, all right, there's 120,000. I'm sure if you bought all that, it would probably be another 120,000. People have accumulated this since the beginning of the game for the eggs, and nobody really uses it because, it's not really a super profitable item. So if you need an item, though, that you want to spam, if you can't get any other item right now, thanks to the captcha being removed, you do have the option of cranking out, steamed bird I'm just using as one example here. So, okay, for the steamed bird, I'm just going to pump that out and just do it solely for the purpose of getting contribution points from the hand-ins and milk from the byproducts. And if you don't know, every time you cook, you get one item on average. This is the one for contribution points, and this is the one for milk. So just sitting here spamming out these steamed birds, I'm going to get tons of those byproducts or hand-ins to turn in for tons of contribution and milk. And then what I can do with the steamed bird is all the green ones that come out, just vendor, just sell to an NPC. It's not going to be very profitable in that aspect, but you will get some silver back. And then maybe eat all the blue ones or sell all them too. So this isn't exactly a super profitable item to make, but it's a great example of an item that you probably can get all the ingredients really easy and spam out. I'll just check, yeah, good amount of pumpkins. I think use olives too. So a good amount of olives on the marketplace. And I'll just pull this up too if you want to look at. You can just pause this You can see vegetables are in a lot of different stuff too. So there's a lot of different options here. And then I'll pull up uses for chicken meat one more time. So this is definitely a viable option to keep spamming out contribution to milk. Subscribe to get notifications when I put something new out. And thanks a lot for watching. And I think it was Mackenzie that mentioned this in the stream. Thanks a lot. This is a really good idea, and it's worked out well for me. Thanks a lot, guys.